Welcome, everybody, to Lokumu podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again in this week's episode. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you lending us your ears. For those who come back every week to watch and learn and listen, thank you so much. You are being part of a great movement, the age of information. And today we have again Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi joining us today again, as usual. There's a lot to impact. There's a lot to speak about. And we are just grateful to have such people with us, guiding us and helping us to maneuver this reality. So today we're going to speak about the Ubuntu concept, the oneness, the unity, because we are in the we time. We are not in the time of me. It's in the time of we. So it's about Ubuntu. So now we're going to speak more about it. We're going to learn things that we didn't know about Ubuntu. And it's going to be an amazing episode. Make sure you have your note ready. Make sure you have everything that you need with you so that you don't miss any part of this episode. On my side, I'm Lokumu Podcast, and Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi is joining us from Johannesburg. She's here with me, and I'm going to let her in now. Dr. Mmatheo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lokumu, for the granted opportunity to continue on this journey of remembrance, the journey that I'm not only partaking with you, but collectively with all the other who's actually a mirror reflection of self. And I'm always saying that though perceived as an individual, I also see myself in every being in existence, because that which I call the other is a mirror reflection of self. That which I call the other is the other version of me. And how am I going to know myself? It's knowing myself through the experience and partaking with the other, because the remembering of self and the lessons cannot be achieved in this journey of self-discovery without me and the other, who is me in reality as my mirror reflection. So let's partake together in this journey of self-discovery, the path of remembrance. I just want to revisit 2019, 2020, when we had COVID. It was not something new that was introduced to us. We had to distance ourselves. Was it 1 or 3 meters? I don't know, I can't remember now, but we had to exercise social distancing. It was that social distancing, it was reminding us of honor your own space. Honor your own space so that you can pick up your energy and your aura and your vibration. That was that. But also, what was also interesting is it's the aspect of wearing the mask. The mask, it was just reinforcing what humanity has been doing. When most people wear masks, they are not visible to the naked eye, but they are wearing masks. They are hiding behind that mask, that facade, that we project, a tool that we have mastered so much, so that we play the game, and they call it the game. Or it's a game, probably it's a game, the game of life. Projecting, wearing a facade, and being the director of your own movie, where you will act and behave and entertain the one who's in front of you just to win the approval and keep the person entertained, so that the person is hooked up in you and thinking that it's the true self. And in reality, you're just wearing a mask. The mask that we wear, the mask that we were encouraged. It was even a law to wear a mask. So we're actually being reminded that keep hiding yourself, project that, don't never allow your true self to come in the forefront. Wear a mask, stay behind the mask, it serves the system, it serves the illusion, it serves everything, it serves the media. When you don't allow your true self to come out and you're wearing a mask, you are safe. Let me say this, when you are wearing a mask and you are hiding behind the mask and the facade, you are a lost soul. That's the opening statement. Why do we wear a mask and a facade? We're hiding the true self, the authentic self. And why do we do that? It's out of fear, not fear of rejection, but fear of if my true self can come out, it might not be accepted. And by the way, I have the society expect me to behave in a certain way to be accepted. So whom are you entertaining? Are you entertaining the society, the system, and the other, or are you entertaining yourself? Are you sovereign unto self? Are you here to actually experiment and experience life and allow the spirit that has chosen the body that you're manifesting in to actually explore without limitation and exercising fear and applying brakes? I think we need to pause. I think we need to answer a question. Are we going to carry on wearing a mask, hiding behind the mask, that facade? Why are we hiding from? You're not hiding from anything, anybody else. You're not running away from anybody else. The truth of the matter is, sad as it is, we're hiding away from self. We're running away from self. We are fearful of coming home to self.
Yeah.
An act which is a sacrificial act, an act where we self-sabotage, an act where we belittle ourselves, an act where we think if we don't actually reclaim the power that lies within and allow it to have a ripple effect and bring change and birth change and be the change that we want to see in the world, just like Mahatma Gandhi once said, be that which you want to see in the world. Remember, the world, it's a platform. You are that world. You're manifesting that world with every step that you're taking, with every thought. So if you hide behind the mask, behind the facade, you are not that world. And you've lost your power, and somebody will create the world for you. So I think that's the main theme when we move to Ubuntu. When we speak about Ubuntu, which is oneness, that's the main theme. Come out of the facade. Come out of that mask. Stop hiding. Whom are you hiding from? Who's holding a gun against you saying you must hide? Who's threatening you? Why are we fearful? Fear is false evidence appearing real. Break it. Break it. Nobody's going to break it for you. And nobody will liberate you. Self-liberation. It's an individual. You have to liberate yourself before you can claim you can liberate the world. You cannot give to the world. You cannot give to the other, who is you, that which you don't have it in you. Everything starts with self. And everything starts with self because under Ubuntu oneness, we are all one. You cannot say, I can do this for the country, for the planet, for the universe, for the other, when in reality, you don't have it in you. Let's wake up.
Being your own true self and being authentic is very important. And there's nothing else more important than that, because going back to the previous episode where we were speaking about, where we came from and the origin of humanity. So it's all about remembering where you came from. And when you remember that we all came from the same place, and it's just about being different in the way that we live, because it facilitates the environment and the ways of our lives.
Mm.
We cannot do the same thing. Everybody cannot do the same thing. Everybody cannot be president. Everybody cannot be the minister. Everybody cannot be that um, whatever famous artist, because even I'm in the creative industry, and you can see that many young people, instead of looking within, being true self, utilizing their own true talent, but they look up to other people, they look up to other creatives who are so-called big famous, and they want to be like them. But it's like, okay, you want to be like them, but you don't know their journey. It doesn't mean if you're not you don't become famous, then you didn't fulfill your mission. It's not like that. We have different missions and different purpose. So we we, we 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 must not feel ashamed of being ourselves and partaking on our own journey and serving the mission that we have to serve. Because we are in an ever-ending journey. So you don't know in the next journey who you'll be and what you will be. So don't compromise your purpose. That's the whole thing of coming back and doing it all over again. You didn't fulfill your mission.
Mm.
You didn't do what you're supposed to be. You were not authentic. You were not you. You were doing somebody else. You were masquerading as somebody else. So it's very important to remember that and really sit on that, and you know um keep being what we are called to be.
Thank you very much, Lokumu, for expanding. Not only expanding, I feel that if there was any loopholes and misunderstanding in this tapestry that we're weaving with the audience and the listeners and everyone on this blue pearl planet Earth, key, you've actually filled up the gaps and expanded. If probably much was not said by me, you've actually outlaid it for everybody to understand. So we're focusing on Ubuntu and oneness. And as we focus on Ubuntu, our previous episode, we were talking about the cradle of humankind, and we're still saying Africa is the cradle of humankind, whether you take, according to science, the learned. I call the scholars the learned, okay? The learned, those who are expanding and using information and using their logic to discover more, the learned. They are looking into the out of Africa model versus the multi-regional model. So that's not my field, but if you want to read and you want to resources, I could give reference to that. It was covered in the previous episode. Before we go to Ubuntu and oneness, I just want to recap what we've already spoken about, that humanity traces its origin in the motherland, Africa. The African stock of the humankind is the oldest stock, which means is the parent of all existing stocks inhabiting all regions of the world. Basically, what I'm saying is that it all began in Africa, and through migration, we started in the old world. Then we started moving to other parts of the world. We penetrated the old world. So we discussed that. And I'll highlight few of, just to cover a little bit of what the scholars have said so far before I go to other aspects. The human differences that we so much capitalize on and make it an issue. People are classified according to gender, race, tribe, country. And there are wars out there. There are wars within and there are wars out there. And when you ask yourself, why are we fighting? You know, why are we fighting? Why the people are fighting and countries are fighting? A sense of entitlement. Because I'm in Africa or I'm in South Africa, I'm entitled to this. I'm in Israel, I'm entitled to this, nobody else. Because I'm a citizen. It's a source of entitlement. And when somebody says they're entitled and the other one will come and say, but you're not entitled, and I can prove to you that you're not entitled. So it's the war. But the war, as we sing it all over the world, it's actually reported in media. It comes from within. The inner conflict, when you lack inner peace, when you lack inner peace and you don't know who you are and you are scared and fearful of facing your own shadow, instead of dealing with your inner conflict, you will project that which is in you to the outside world. And you'll be the one who will be promoting war. You will be the one who will be promoting the notion, divide, conquer, and rule them. If you cannot rule them, subdue them, oppress them, let them submit, let them be under your authority. You're doing that because you lack inner peace. You're doing that because you've got inner conflict. Instead of facing the demon and the demon in you, the shadow in you, you're so scared of coming home to yourself that you need to project it and spill your beans, your worms into the platform, the world, and make everybody believe that there's a need to be for countries to fight. And let me tell you, the economy of this planet is funded by wars. The more weapons are being made and the more weapons are being made to kill people, that's what keeps the economy going. If wars can stop, that money could be redirected for benevolent purposes instead of all these purposes of actually promoting wars. There's no need for wars. Why should we be fighting when we actually won? Why should we be fighting? What are we fighting for? Are we fighting the other, or we actually fighting self? Because you lack so much peace. You have so much inner conflict, and you cannot solve your own inner conflict. You must throw it to the platform, to the world, and marvel and be happy and rejoice when there is more bloodshed. It's not about the war out there. It's about the inner war.
Yeah.
So the human differences that we capitalize on, they are superficial. What unites us is far more significant than that which divides us. Under our skins, we are all Africans. I don't care whether you are in Europe. I don't care whether you are in America. I don't care whether you are in China or Asia. Under those skin color that you capitalizing on, we all Africans. We are the sons, metaphorical sons and daughters of the men from Kibish. I will repeat. Under those skin, the noses that have changed and everything, we are all Africans. We are the metaphorical sons and daughters of the men from Kibish. So, the wars, somebody's funding those wars and they're making money out of it. There's no need for countries to fight. There's no need for individuals even to fight. Even in our own home country here in South Africa, there's no need for all this conflict. Everything that is happening that we are believing, that we are made to believe that South Africa is crashing, is crumbling. I will believe when I see it manifesting. For now, South Africa is not crashing. Yes, it might appear at face value that it's crashing. What you see with your naked eye and what is happening in spirit behind the scenes, there are two different stories. Which story are you listening to? The story that media is feeding you, or what you are being informed in spirit? So all the people of the world are traceable to Africa. The Africans, the Europeans, the Arabs, the Jews, the Chinese, the Indians, and all Asians, and the people of the North and South America, the Caribbean, the Oceanic people, all of them, we are all brothers and sisters, long lost to one another. And now we've turned to be enemies to each other. We're fighting each other. But we come from the same womb. We are the children of the law of one. But we're fighting. We're fighting for what? We are one race. We are the children of the law of one. And that law of one is Ubuntu. I will expand on Ubuntu. And I'm making a plea to my other self, which is humanity out there. May the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of oneness, be rekindled as we pause to connect deeply with the essence of the poem written by one of the enlightened souls, rooted in the knowledge of the ancient ones, Professor Herbert Winston Vilakazi. He wrote a poem and he was paying homage to the Great Mother, and he called the Great Mother Goddess Nomkumbulwan. That's a Zulu term. I will read the poem. It's the poem, and when you listen, imagine yourself being cradled by the hands of the Great Mother. Sing, oh sing, Goddess Nomkumbulwan. The story of Africa and humankind. Sing, ancestors, and Goddess Nomkumbulwan. The story of Mother Africa. How Africa gave birth to humankind. How this lady, Mother Africa, raised and nurtured infant humankind. How Mother Africa gave strength, culture, knowledge of the goddesses and gods, and knowledge of good and evil. How Mother Africa gave drum, dance, voice, laughter, music, and play to humankind. Oh, sing, ancestors, and Goddess Nomkumbulwan, the Great Mother. The untold story of Mother Africa and humankind. How some of her children, grown to adulthood, left Mother Africa for distant corners and far regions of the world, and they changed skin color, hair, size of nose and lips. Oh, sing, ancestors, and Goddess Nomkumbulwan. How some of children grown to adulthood, having forgotten their original relationship with Mother Africa, they came back, abused, heaped contempt, and violated their own mother. And like maiden Ajax, they chained, drew blood, killed, and took their own brothers and sisters to be slaves in the distant lands. How sing, Goddess Nomkumbulwan, how this act became a poison and a curse on the minds and the souls of all humankind. Sing, ancestors, and Goddess Nomkumbulwan, how redemption, renewal, and regeneration of all humankind shall fail and be not, until Mother Africa is restored to a place of honor as the mother of humankind, and how the African is the first brother and sister and the first cousin of all people of the world. That poem was written by Professor Herbert Vilakazi, and he wrote an article on Africa and humankind. and it's the late Professor Herbert Vilakazi. But when you also look at the other scholars, there's a book that is written, One Mind, by Dr. Larry Dossey. And he says, we are all a manifestation of the greater I am. Basically, we are a macrocosm of the greater, which means we are that small aspect of the greater I am. And as long as we believe that we are separate, and we buy into this delusion that we are separate, the wars will carry on. We'll fight. We'll see the other, we'll perceive and analyze and even label the other, who's a reflection of self, as being different, because you don't see self in the other. And you don't see that you actually come from the same womb in Africa. As long as we believe that we are separate, let's pause. As long as we believe that we are separate, there will be all manner of dysfunction in this world. But when we embrace our oneness, which is Ubuntu, oneness is Ubuntu, as the children of the law of one, there is nothing that we cannot overcome. For now, we seem to be at loggerheads and fighting, and we creating enemies because we believe that we're different. So when you're not united, there's a saying, and I will say to South Africans, a nation that is divided upon itself will never prosper or amount to anything. As long as a nation, the rainbow nation with the 7 spectrum of light, South Africa belongs to everyone. It's a no man's land. Nobody must be claiming that they've got more authority and power over. It's no man's land. It belongs to everyone as a rainbow nation. But as long as we see through this misconception that we are divided, we are different, we are not going to amount to anything. We'll carry on fighting. Brother will fight brother based on race, tribe, the shape of the nose, telling them, let's drive them to the sea, let's drive them across the border, whatever. All those nonsense that have been said, I'm just saying it from home, because for now, I'll say South Africa. We can expand it across. It's a national statement, but we can take it even beyond the borders, beyond the ocean, beyond. As long as we think we separate, we have bought into the nation that divided you cannot stand. United, you rise and you stand together and you can create and build and heal. But when you divided within yourself, you bring it out to the masses, and everything that is divided, it's not going to amount to anything. So if we want to build this nation as a rainbow nation, we need to hold arms and see beyond the perceived notion that we are different. Rainbow, it's not only black. The colors of a rainbow, it's not black. It's a 7 spectrum of light, 7 colors. So if there are 7 colors, and we South Africans, we can be an example to the entire world that we are a rainbow nation, but we have forgotten that we are a rainbow nation. We should stand together. We should not let that in our diversity, let it not be an element that separates or divides us. We are such a beautiful country. We are such beautiful people. We represent the rainbow. There's no other nation or any other country throughout this planet, this blue pearl, that was labeled and it's still labeled a rainbow nation. It's only in South Africa. Because truly, we represent the whole people of this planet. You will find them in South Africa. No wonder I say it's no man's land. It belongs to the rainbow nation. And everybody belongs here.
Yes. That's very hard to believe for some people. Very hard to believe because we are still conditioned with the mindset of it is my country, it is my nation. I was born here and it's mine. I have a passport, I have an ID, I have this and that. All those things are just STEM, they are just made up documents and paper to claim you as a person. And it's not to say that this paper, you know, uh, guarantees you this land or whatever. I mean, I'm still gonna go back to where we came from. We all emerged from the same place. And if Mother Earth was gonna decide, or if Mother Earth decided to say, okay, I'm gonna give you guys IDs and papers and passport, and uh, to 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 show you where you belong to, and that was gonna be still Africa. And we see it's just ourselves. We're confusing ourselves with these things, and all these things. It's just a lack of um being aware of what we actually talking about here. People don't know this history. People don't know this kind of knowledge, and our leaders, most of our leaders are aware of these things, and because of greed and selfish.
I don't know if may I chip in your statement.
Okay.
People, people, even if they remember or they know, the media is funded. History is written by victors. They will write and they will feed you with that which they want you to believe. Coming to the leaders, I don't know if the leaders don't know. Remember that the leaders also, they will serve the master who's paying them to fulfill the mandate and the protocol.
Yes.
So it depends who's funding them, who's putting money. This notion of Africa going around with a begging bowl to the West and asking for help. The hand that feeds you will always control you. You'll never claim your sovereignty until you can actually be able to feed yourself. If you carry on going out there with a begging bowl and asking, as if you don't have it here at home, that which feeds you will always control you.
That, yeah, I mean, I, it's hard. It's hard. That is very true. Whoever feeds you will control you, and it's true. And this is what's happening with our leaders. All our leaders, all our African leaders. In fact, most of them are just waking up now and start doing things on their own and start reclaiming the land and then understanding that you don't need to go out there to ask for help, to ask for money, to ask for anything. Everything is here. So with that being said, the result of us being separated, being divided, is serving their mission and the people that are funding them and the people that are controlling them. And it's very sad because we keep looking at them, but actually it's not them. There are people behind them, and that will always be the case forever if we don't understand that us ourselves without the leader, we have to take the lead. We have to lead ourselves because they are not our leaders. They just lead us by names. We have to lead ourselves. That's why this whole concept of Ubuntu is very important. If we understand that, then we will know, okay, our leaders are being controlled, our leaders are being funded, and they will never change if we ourselves take action first. And I think from that point, will be more the whole world will be more peaceful and there will be no war. In my country, in Congo, where I came from, my homeland, there is war, ongoing war forever. Since I was born, there was war. It's not in all part of Congo, just to emphasize that it's in on the east side of Congo, but it's affecting the whole country. The economy is down, everything is down, and it's just chaotic. And since I was born, I knew I heard of that war. We studied that in school, and it's just very bad and shameful because you can see even a child that is born today will understand that the world is being funded by other people without them even doing research, without learning anything, without studying any book, because it's so obvious and it's so um it's mother nature is just implanting that in us, telling us, hey, you need to understand that this thing it's something else, to reaching the point that you don't need to learn or you don't need anybody to tell you for you to know something. It's already a big warning Mother Nature is giving us, because souls that are coming back now are coming back with that understanding that, hey, there's something wrong here. Something is very fishy. Something is very unstable. So our leaders, let leave them the way they are. Let us take the lead. Let us come together. Let us sit down and decide what can we do to move forward. Let us forget about this is my country, this is my homeland, this is my what. Let us come together as Africans and take this opportunity and relate to each other's problems. Because another thing is also we don't relate to each other. We're so separated that we don't even feel what other people feel. Like it's just so obvious that when you are a human, we have that it's built in us. We have that ability to feel what other people feel, but we ignore that. We ignore that and we leave that to be something of the mystics. And we make it
Mm.
so far-fetched. We make it we what's the term, we mystify it so much that we don't even recognize it anymore. We ignore that, and that's the saddest thing. And that's why we see so many homeless people, we see so many people committing suicide and things like that, because we ignore other people. And that's what the Ubuntu is all about. you know I'm you, you are me, we together. I'm you because of you. I'm me because of you. So we have to really come back to that understanding and we'll move forward. It's not like if I recognize your humanity, then it means I lose something or I become less. It's not that. That is just a mindset we've been conditioned to think that way. School has conditioned us to think that way. School and army, all of them have the same system to set you apart, to make you feel like you're better than you others. So we have to come back to that understanding. From that point, I think will be so much greater, because Mother Nature will not come to us and tell us physically. We have that inbuilt. We can feel it in our spirit, but we keep ignoring that. And it's just very dangerous. It's very bad. It's very serious. We don't take it serious, but it's very serious. You live your life now, you have a house, you have a car, you have a good job. You think that's life. That's not life, because at the
Mm.
end of it, when you go on the other side, when you transition, then you get to see the real reality, how things work. Then from there, it's you are on your own. We have the opportunity now that we're meeting here in our physical body. We have soul. We're meeting here for a purpose. We have to understand that. When you go on the other side, you are on your own. You are literally on your own. So it's very important to really take that very seriously, you know. So I think this episode is very important because it's reminding us to come together. I mean, why can we give um um things of the world so much value that we say sport and entertainment is the one thing that brings people together? No, it's because you've been conditioned to think that way. You know how much entertainers get paid? A simple job. I can give you an example. A simple job, um, not a simple job, but a job that is essential, that is needed for humanity. Healers are needed. Teachers are needed. Not teachers in our education system, but teachers as teaching as we doing this, well, what we're doing right now. Teachers and healers are needed, but those are the very same people that are very um they don't have value. We don't give them value. We see them as less, we see them as nothing. But entertainers who absolutely do nothing, they get paid million and million just to entertain you, to keep you distracted. I'm not saying that to banish entertainers. I'm in the creative industry. I know, like, I know what I'm talking about. So we have to just be so much aware of our own self, so that we can consider other, so that we can value other humans like us. So it's very important on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Our individual mind is part of our individual mind. I'm not talking about the brain covered by the skull, the bones. I'm talking about the mind. Our individual mind is part of the universal mind. And when I say the universal mind, I'm referring to the universal consciousness. So which means we are, as an individual mind, we actually connected to the universal mind. So which means there's nothing that you cannot access. There's nothing which is hidden from you unless the individual themselves choose to actually be veiled and not access that information. This concept of universal consciousness it's actually woven into Ubuntu. And I will say Ubuntu there are so many African languages. If I were to speak this recording, we won't finish trying to say what Ubuntu is using each and every African language. So I will just use 2 languages. Ubuntu in isiZulu means, isiZulu in Zulu, iri umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu. In Setswana, iri mutu, ke mutu, ka batho ba bang. You know, I love the Setswana language. It's like you sing, mutu ke mutu, ka batho ba bang. It's, you know, we sing when we speak. We flow. You hear the Zulu, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. We are a people of music. Dance. We dance. And a person who dances is because they are joyful inside. There's less tension. Let's return to that rhythm, the dance. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Mutu ke mutu ka batho ba bang. You know? Let's return there. I am because you are, and because you are, I am. We belong to the children, we are the children of the law of one. We exist in oneness. That's Ubuntu. We are of one source. And our individual mind bears its origin from the infinite mind of the greater I am, the universal mind that permeates everything. So, when we go back, because we've had philosophers in the past, Plato said, human nature was originally one, and we were all whole. So what happened? Plato was during that period in Greece, some of those earliest civilizations. The old civilization was the Sumerian civilization. And then it was the Indus Valley civilization. And then it was the Egyptian civilization. And then I forgot what's the 4th one. But basically, from antiquity, we have always, when Mother Nature and when Mother Earth and when the star beings, when everything about the universe, it doesn't see us as separate entities. We are all one. Hippocrates said there is one common flow, the rhythm, one common breathing. When you breathe, we all breathe the same life force air. There's no air that says this is for the Chinese, this is for the Africans, this is for the Jews. This is all these groupings, which, by the way, those categories and descriptions. They were purposefully created to create more separation. I'm Chinese, I'm African, I'm Jew, I'm this, I'm that, bragging. Bragging, nothing to brag about. At the end of the day, it's not what you brag about, that you are an African, Chinese, Indian, Jew, American. That sets you apart, that makes you special. What makes you special is that you are a human being. Your origin is traced in Africa. You belong to the children of the law of one, and in oneness we exist. If you could brag about belonging to the children of the law of one, I will say thumbs up. But if you brag about, I'm African, I'm Chinese, I'm Jew, I'm that, that's very shallow, that's very empty. And when we actually consider that we allow ourselves to be divided, we allow ourselves to believe that we actually separate. We allow it. We allow it. Because if you can remember that we are the children of the law of one, and that is Ubuntu. And to speak more about Ubuntu, I think maybe I've been saying Ubuntu, and I'm actually not even saying what Ubuntu is. So maybe I need to go back to the root, the origin. What is Ubuntu? Ubuntu arises from the word Untu. Untu. And previously I said Untu is the great mother that birthed all. But then I'm going to tell you how is Untu perceived. Different throughout the world, they've described Untu, not labeling it as Untu, but they've used different terminology. But you'll pick up that it's referencing to Untu. Untu, the great mother, is the universal cosmic intelligence. Is the universal force from which all creation flows. Is the primordial energy that creates, that preserves, that transforms. When I say it's the primordial energy, I'm talking about the triune cosmic powers of the universe. The triune cosmic powers that exist. 3 of them: creation, preservation, transformation or dissolution, or you can call it destruction. You cannot, to create and destroy, it's a dance, it goes together. When you create, you will preserve it, nurture it, and when it's no longer serving the purpose, its energy, it will be transformed into its next state of being. And it could be taught, you could say it's being destroyed. So what governs this universe? This universe, which we are part of as Earth, we are governed by the triune, the 3 cosmic powers, which are creation, preservation, transformation, which you could say it's dissolution or destruction. And that triune cosmic powers of the universe, they are actually expressed in the When you follow Hinduism, it's in the When you follow Christianity, I don't know where in the Bible it's written, but I know it's there in the Bible. I used to read the Bible, by the way. So it will say, in the creation was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay? Which means everything that came into being, there was the Word. And what is the Word? It's a sound. So the in Hinduism, it's an expression of the triune cosmic powers, which is creation, preservation, transformation, or destruction. The if you can, it can be spelled as O-M, You hear it in Buddhism and Hinduism. But when you write it as the alphabet A-U-M, A stands for the protector. U stands for the transformer, and M stands for the creator. We have that in us. We have the ability to create because we are energy in motion. And we can transmit from one state to another. And that being energy, which can transmute from one state to another, possesses the ability to protect itself. So why are we fighting? Why are we fighting? Why people are being assigned to protect this and that and that and that? Whom are they fighting? If you have it in you. Ubuntu is the energy in motion. And it's that energy in motion undergoing transmutation. When I say transmutation, it means energy is forever in a state of becoming. So in life, it's about change. We like it or not, change is it's upon us, and it has always been upon us. Loosen it up. You know, I will say this. There's only a tug of war if you are holding into the tug, into that rope. Let go of the rope. There won't be war. There is a tug of war because there's resistance. That which you resist will persist until you realize there's no need to resist anymore. There is a tug of war because you're holding on, refusing to change. Under the illusion, you will divide, conquer, and rule, oppress and subdue. Let go of that tug of war. It's no longer needed. It has gone through its own stage, and this is the era where we're returning and we are awakening to the law of one. And that tug of war, let go, release it. It's no longer needed. It was never part of us. It was imposed because we bought into the concept. It's time to flush it, to flush it. It's no longer saving the masses. It's no longer saving our planet. It's no longer saving the universe. Ubuntu is the womb that has birthed all. And the same womb that has birthed all can swallow all. There's a notion Baba Credo used to say to me. You know, I have this thing with Baba Credo, the late Baba Credo. Baba used to say to me, there are two openings or two mouths that are never satisfied. The womb, I said Ubuntu is the womb that births all and swallows. But there are two mouths in a human body that are never satisfied. And probably also let's take the Great Mother. The mother will be forever giving birth through her yoni. Without, whether you love or accept, she will give birth. And then the other mouth is the one of that we eat with. So there are two things that are never, no, three actually, two things. Humanity, every morning will want to eat something, feed the mouth. Give birth, it's another mouth. Ne? And then there's another womb, there's another mouth, which never gets full, the grave. It's another mouth. So there are three mouths. The mouth that you eat with, the yoni, the vagina always giving birth, and the grave that will always want. So it's a cycle. And when you look at it, when I talk about the three mouths, the yoni, it's creation, giving life into this world. But the same life that is being ushered into this world through the yoni will be swallowed by the grave. It's another mouth, and it's a cycle of life. You come, and you are clothed in this body, and you exit, and you take off this physical form, and you carry on with your journey. It's the cycle of life. So if we forget that Ubuntu is the womb that birth all, and it swallows all. If we tend to think with our arrogance that we have it all and we are in control, please, let's pause and revisit. We are not even in control of anything that we think we are in control. We are made to believe. Actually, some they already realize that they are not in control, but there are those who are imposing their will on others and they think they are in control. Please go back to the boardrooms and revisit how much are you in control using the tactics that you are using on others because you cannot face your own self and come to the terms that we are all one. So Bantu, it doesn't apply to Africans. Bantu means people. Bantu means the children of Untu. Untu, mother Untu. So Bantu or humans are the manifestation of this cosmic force that I've just relate to, that we call Untu. The cosmic force, the intelligence that it's known to the ancient ones, the mystics and the sage as the great Untu. The manifestation of Untu is limitless and it's infinite. So which means it's not only limited to manifesting itself in the form of humans. When I say it's limitless and boundless, you find Untu in the animal kingdom and in the plant kingdom and everywhere. So everything, animate and inanimate, it's infused with this life force of Untu. And Untu is the universal force that expresses self through its manifestation. So when you see Motu, Muntu, it's a manifestation of the great Untu, this cosmic intelligence. So Untu is a state of being. When I say it's a state of being, when we say Ubuntu, we exist in our state of oneness. When you wake up and you remember that I'm not separate from anything that I perceive as different from me, I exist in oneness, you'll realize that Ubuntu is a state of being. It's a state of acknowledging that the indwelling spiritual intelligence exists in each and every being that mirrors self. And you realize that Ubuntu is this cohesive bond that binds us together into this state of oneness, which we call Ubuntu.
All right. That I think we have actually spoke about a lot of things. It's a lot, and it's very amazing. But then just so to give you space in your mind to digest everything, we kind of gonna stop it from here, and then we're gonna come back again, as usual on the next episode to continue more, and just to give you that opportunity to come back because, as I said, keep doing research, do research, write down, take note, helped me a lot. And I'm saying this from experience because you're going to use them as references. You're going to come back to them and revisit your note. And when you come across something and you can come back to your note and be like, okay, oh, this is what I heard. I heard that from this. I heard that from them. So it helps you to use them as references, and it's very important. So for now, we're going to stop it from there. And again, a reminder, Ubuntu, I'm you. I'm me because of you. So, and
Yes.
we have to keep that in mind so that we can live in harmony with Mother Nature and with us as human. We come here as physical being, but we exit as spiritual being. On the other side, there is no color. On the other side, there is no job title. On the other side, there is no me. On the other side, it's just you. And that you is the oneness, it's everything. So we have to remember that we must not be distracted from that concept. That is the truth of who we are. So without taking much time, and Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi has a book, Odyssey of a Healer. I have a copy here. That is the book. So you can order, you can get it. Read the book, it's amazing. And you can request for a hard copy or buy it on Amazon, as we always put the information on the screen. So don't forget to link up with her on her social media page, Facebook, Pinterest, and everything else, LinkedIn. You will receive daily and weekly inspirations, and just to get you ready to kickstart your week and day. And from me, I think we will end it from here. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for lending us your ears. It is very important, and we value you. We appreciate you so much. And we are in the age of information. Let us learn. Let us be open to information. Let us receive this information with two hands, because we might not have the opportunity to get it when you transition on the other side. There's no teacher on the other side. We come back here because we have the mission to teach, to help humanity here. On the other side, nobody will help you. So this is your opportunity. And for me, I think that's my word. Dr. Mmatheo, do you have any last word before we close?
We are the children of the law of one. We are the children of Ubuntu. May we remember that in oneness we exist. Well said in Zulu, umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu. I am because you are, and because you are, I am. And in oneness, I exist. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, visit Dr. Mmatheo's website, and we shall see you on the next one.